Hi dear students, this is CA Revathy Raja, faculty for CA Inter and CA Final Auditing. We are here to discuss about certain concerns relating to auditing and assurance. Many of the students feel that auditing and assurance is a Himalayan mountain or it's a mountainous task to do. But students with these few strategies, I think even climbing of Mount Everest would be simple and it can be easily done. To give an overview about the subject auditing and assurance as such, you have 13 chapters. The first chapter is nature, objective and scope of audit. It is nothing but students, it is essay 200 and 210. The second chapter is audit strategy, audit planning and audit program. It is essay 300 and 320 mainly. The third chapter is audit documentation and audit evidence. That chapter comprises of essay 230, 500, 501, 505, 510, 550, 560, 570 and essay 580. Fourth chapter is risk assessment and internal control. It comprises of internal control as well as essay 315. Fifth chapter is fraud reporting and auditor's responsibility. It is auditor's responsibility relating to fraud as well as it covers essay 240. Sixth chapter is audit in automated environment. Seventh chapter is audit sampling, nothing but it is essay 530. Eighth chapter is analytical procedures, it is your essay 520. The ninth chapter is audit of items in financial statements. Dear students, in this chapter, lot of concepts are those which you have studied in law, like issue of shares, and lot of concepts is those which you have studied in your accounts relating to accounting standards. The 10th chapter is the company audit, section 139 to section 148 of Companies Act 2013. The 11th chapter is your audit report. It covers essay 700, 701, 705, 706 and 710. 12th chapter is audit of banks, and the last chapter, the 13th chapter is audit of different entities, where you have audit of various entities, approximately 14 different audits. As you are aware, auditing and assurance is one of the paper which comes in the second group of intermediate. As the students are concerned, auditing is one of the subject where students don't get the marks as expected. The main reasons for this can be broadly divided into 5. First is the presentation. Say for example, if a question is asked on company audit, divide your answer into 3 parts. Kindly start your answer with a heading. Divide your answer into 3 parts, of which first part relate to the relevant provision. Say for example, a question is asked on auditor's qualification. Start with as per 141 subsection 3 of Companies Act. In the second part, write the facts of the case. The given case you have to reproduce. And in the third part, you have to give your conclusion as an auditor. So the first thing you have to concentrate is on the presentation, the structured presentation, which is the format followed in your ICI material, RTP as well as your answering pattern format. The second issues which students faces with respect to language. For example, students write, auditor should obtain sufficient and appropriate evidence. This language is fine. But the language which institute expects is, auditor should design and perform audit procedures to obtain sufficient, appropriate, relevant, reliable audit evidence to form a conclusion on which his opinion shall be based. If you see, there were 4 keywords in that, or rather a technical term: sufficient, appropriate, relevant and reliable. Whenever you write the exam, kindly use these technical words, or rather the keywords. So the second thing which you have to concentrate is the language used. Kindly use the technical terms or the keywords. The third thing which you have to concentrate is on quoting the section numbers as well as essay numbers. Students ask whether to write the section numbers or essay numbers for the exam. A student writes as per Companies Act or as per standards on auditing. Another student's writing as per essay 500 on audit evidence, as per 141 subsection 3 of Companies Act. It makes a difference, but kindly quote only the relevant and correct sections or essay numbers. And the fourth thing which you have to concentrate is on the conceptual clarity of the subject. Like mere mugging up and reproducing of the subject won't do much of a help. If you see the recent exam question papers, almost 50% of the questions are case study based questions. So mere mugging up of the questions and reproducing in the exam won't do much help. So you should have conceptual clarity of the subject. And the last thing is, what is the quantity of answering which institute expects? Many of the students ask, for 5 marks or for 4 marks, what or how much of a page a student should write? Dear students, there is no benchmark as such as regarding to what is the quantity a person should write for the exam. That quantity depends upon the concept or appropriate concepts of questions which has been asked. For example, in your exam, how would you conduct audit of a hospital is asked. There are 12 to 15 points. Say for example, for 5 marks, if a question is asked on audit of government expenditure, same 5 marks, there is only 5 points. So the quantity is determined based on the facts of the questions and the circumstances. So to sum up, there are 5 things which you have to concentrate to get the expected mark. One is the presentation, second is the language which you have used for the exam. You should include the keywords. Third is quoting the relevant section as well as the essays numbers. Fourth is the conceptual clarity, and the last one is the quantity of answers. As you are aware, from May 2019 exam for the intermediate level, Institute has introduced 30:70 pattern. 30 mark is the MCQ and 70 mark is the descriptive. 30 marks MCQ can be 3 types. One is one-liner MCQ, single line MCQ, or it can be a case study MCQ based on a case, or it can be a scenario MCQ followed by 5 sets of questions based on that particular scenario. For answering the MCQ, students should scan through the ICA study material. Second, should have overall understanding of the subject as well as conceptual application of the subject. This is the MCQ part. For answering the 70 marks descriptive part, if you see the question paper of the latest exams, descriptive part, first question is compulsory. Out of the rest, you can leave one in option. One question in the descriptive part is correct, incorrect, 14 marks. For answering the descriptive part, you should have understanding of the subject as well as concentrate on the presentation. Plus, you should have the conceptual clarity also. So students, for answering the descriptive question, kindly go through the past exam questions, RTP as well as the mock test papers. Whenever you are studying for auditing and assurance at the intermediate level, kindly make it a practice to revise the subject. Like you might have studied company audit. When you study the next chapter, kindly revise the company audit which you have studied, so that multiple revision will help you so as to make you remember all these things which you have studied. Another suggestion is not to leave any topic in option. If you see the question paper pattern, mainly in the descriptive part, a question may contain various multiple parts and each part may be covering from different portions in the syllabus. So, if you leave anything in the option while you are studying, you will be forced to attempt that. So, students, don't leave anything in option. So, dear students, I wish you all the very best for your exams as well as for the bright future. May God bless you. Thank you.
Logic, School of Management.